So this was Caesar's workshop. Nothing suspicious here, just normal magic props. Let's head in further. What was that? Oh, is this one of Caesar's gadgets? Guess we must have triggered some sort of device.
I'm fine. Shine down!
Whoa. Look, the doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the card on this doll. Let's take a closer look. These magic boxes are moving. What do we do?
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate.
That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
This place seems a little too ordinary for a magician's work. We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe a hidden... Aha! If I just move this book...
A secret passage!
I'm a magician too, and apparently great minds really do think looks pretty big inside. Let's head in and take a look around.
Everyone hold hands!
Illusion shattered!
Go!
One with nature!
Bombs away!
There is no escape!
Here comes the finale!
Why have you stopped, Lyney? Is there some...
It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys... If anyone makes a major discovery, let's...
All right, see you in a bit! look inside it, shall we?
At one of my shows a few days ago, a child asked me how as a joke, I told the kid that the hat has a built-in wish grant. So I told them another white lie. I wound up saving very little this month. But 2 children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why they were out on their own. They looked much too young to be unsupervised. I do hope they got home safely. Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach them how to do magic. It's not uncommon. I told them that learning magic is very hard work, but that didn't faze them at all. It's like they already knew. It seems like something's bothering Lorenzo lately, but he won't open up to me. Surely he's not upset that I agreed to teach those 2 children. I have a good feeling about those kids. They're naturally they have all sorts of fantastic ideas. All I'm really doing is help. They wanted to call me master, but I told them they absolutely mustn't. Any magician worth their salt could have taught them what I have. With time, I have no doubt that they could become far greater magicians than I. My only concern is why they're so mature for their age. Gemma thinks so too. She doesn't like being around them. Says that their eyes are too piercing. They don't bother me. It's nearly time for me to go on tour. I once overheard them talking about their father and their mission. Sounds like their parents have other plans for them. It's only been 10 days since I first met them, but I think that they're very tough, but also very cautious. And they trust no one but each other. They hide things from me too. For example, when I asked them where they live and why they wanted... That's the thing about children. Whenever they're trying to cover something up, it always shows. I can sense that their lives have been hard. Possibly even dangerous, too. After thinking things over, I decided to tell them a bit about how I see the world. P.S. I hope they won't find my nagging annoying. Children are so opinionated nowadays. Will it do them more harm? P.P.S. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Children aren't interested in grand philosophies. Oh, Caesar, Caesar.
2 magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about Lyney and Lynette, don't you? So did they meet Caesar when they were kids? Let's go up. Lyney?
Shh, hold that thought. As I expected, there's a lot of fishy things going on in this place.
Fishy? Uh-oh, what have you found?
All in good time. Before we go over our new leads, I want to tell you how a high-altitude escape is performed. First, the magician slots themselves into a magic box in full view of the audience. The box is then suspended high in the air, and a short while later, the base automatically opens. At this point, a dummy will fall out of the box, but it looks real enough to grab the audience's attention, and they start wailing and screaming. Meanwhile, the real magician, who has by now blended into the crowd, waits for a good moment to make their appearance and put on a hysterical performance. Oh no! Is that me? Did I just fall to my death?
Very vivid description. Paimon can really picture it. And then what?
The audience's gaze then turns to the magician, and by the time they realize what's happened, the dummy has vanished, as if everything that just happened was some sort of shared illusion. Of course, that's just how I think the process should work, theoretically speaking. The inventor of this trick never performed it successfully. When the box, he fell right to the ground from the highest point of the opera house, and no one else has ever attempted this trick since. My understanding...
So Caesar's famous high-altitude escape has never been... Paimon was about to say how cool it would have been to see it in person. Wait a second. So if a dummy's supposed to drop out of the box, then...
Glad you asked. That brings us to the secret of... This box right here is the one that Caesar constructed himself to use in the performance. And once the magician's inside, and the box is lifted up into the air, the audience... From where they're standing, they have a clear view of the front, sides, and bottom. But at this point, the magician presses a button inside the box, opening a secret door out of view. He then escapes through this trap door onto the opera house roof, waits for the dummy to fall and distract the audience, and quietly returns.
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined. Even Paimon could probably...
Well, there's a little more to it than that, of course. The hardest part of this trip, there's the falling dummy, the miraculous reappearance, the pompous performing. Maybe the magician would even have themselves tied up before it begins to strengthen the impression that there's many days and nights of careful research. Caesar was a highly accomplished magician.
So, how did it go so wrong? You said you found some fishy stuff.
I can make a pretty good guess. I looked into the case files. The magic box Caesar was using at the time of his death had the secret button I mentioned.
Okay. Nothing.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here. Which leads me to believe that Caesar, because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. But a magician needs to be able to redirect it. The essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth raises... And so, Caesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with his audience's expectations. Great magic, but in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moment. Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, but I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed count. So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket, instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around. With the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him everything.
When in reality, someone switched the boxes. But how would they be able to make the switch with...
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed, and who could move... Isn't that right?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs... There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. But I gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do what's good...
You mean Gemma? So you are the...
Yes, although however stubborn she might be, she was never much of a liability. But you people... You never even knew him, but for some reason you just wouldn't drop it. Which is why you can't leave this place alive.
Do your worst!
Step right up!
Hey!
Into the wind.
Grow!
As one with wind and cloud. Water jet.
This place hurt a little.
Illusion shatter.
And voila! Let's get this show on the road! Had enough yet, Lorenzo? Your cronies can't help you now. I think it's high time you started talking, and what I'd really like...
If I had a mora for every time you said that man's name. Of course you idolized Caesar, everyone else did. He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made magic into...
So it was...
Jealousy. Hatred, more like. He poured everything into his street performances and his stupid tour. But the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. No one gave me amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, mastered all the skills, and he forbade me from using magic to trick people out of their mora. There was nothing he... And with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, I had to kill him. There was no other...
And this was your only
It was reason enough. What other
Well, I was under the impression that there might have been other factors at play. For instance...
In love with Gemma, don't be...
Guess I was wrong about that then. Next...
I am. Caesar was so strict with me. I never bought into any of that.
Oh, yeah! Charlotte told us that the...
That's just how it looked from the outside. What would any thief want with I stole cheap things as a way of
So, that's the story, huh?
What choice do I have? You're a pack of So be it. I've enjoyed
Very well. In that... Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo for...
At least I can...
Lyney has told me the whole story. Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar and to...
Look who's finally developed a... What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lyney? Should we start preparing?
Let me think. Let's rendezvous with Lynette and Gemma first. With Lorenzo in custody, Gemma will no longer have to fear for her safety.
Good point! We should go tell Gemma the good news right away.
Ah, you're back. You were so quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Your third? Lynette, come on, we've talked about this. Everything in moderation. You're not gonna have any...
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the excess sugar.
That's besides the point.
Point taken.
Did everything go okay?
Of course! Lorenzo was no match.
Gosh, that's amazing. I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but
It's okay, we understand. But you don't need to be scared.
Sorry. I always wanted to report Lorenzo. He took all of Caesar's property, which I found suspicious. But I was so afraid. I was scared he'd do something Thank you all.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name. I never would have guessed that Lorenzo was the real Phantom Weasel. He never showed any signs that there were problems between him and Caesar in public. And to think that lowlife's been living... At least his soul can finally rest in peace now.
If only I'd realized...
Don't blame yourself, Gemma.
Yeah, you still have the rest of your life.
Cheer up, Gemma. My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. Would you like to come along? This show will be a special one. We're holding it in Caesar's honor.
In Caesar's honor. Thank you.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Traveler, Paimon, don't be late.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way are we gonna miss out on a free magic show. Wait, Paimon feels like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah, Caesar's diary! We never found out if the two kids Caesar taught magic to were Lyney and Lynette or not. Paimon's excited to see another of Lyney's magic shows! Wait. Lynette, shouldn't...
Not this time. My brother's going solo today. So, I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's ready because the show is about to begin. The great magician Lyney has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight, concluding with an all-new grand finale.
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare to join me on a journey.
Exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it's just...
No wonder. Caesar was a favorite, so how did you two first meet?
Well, I was out on the street. Children love magic because they're willing to believe in things that... And somehow, I felt drawn to him too.
Aw, that sounds so...
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand, snapped his fingers, and... I was so happy that...
Oh, that's so cute!
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic. After all, you never know when the people dearest to you might...
That's right. Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but...
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now. Phantom Weasel.
See? Even Lynette says... Wait, what? The Phantom Weasel? Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
What do you mean?
As Lyney once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless performance for their audience. But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act? I think it's time to...
What are you talking about? Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will now be a brief intermission, after which Lyney will perform the final performance will take place outside of the Opera House.
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places. Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon. Let's talk somewhere else.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid I can't do any tricks. This is a big mistake for a magician to make. But...
Lyney? Don't we have more important... Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment ago.
all in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking.
Really? Well then...
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine, But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day she ran the risk of being Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long she found her ticket to freedom. She would create... After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all, magic and theft shared enough similarities.
So,
Being the master deceiver she was, the weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now, all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers. But I just have one question. You seem to...
Don't worry, but I never believed that he was the weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that.
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me, even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have no doubt that with a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years. Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always...
wait. So you mean the whole intimidation thing was just a hoax? Gemma and Lorenzo were both in on it? But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why didn't he sell her out even at the end instead of...
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Well, Lyney, if you're so confident in your having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the Weasel remained free, then she...
An excellent answer. Though sad...
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore...
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd... Why would the real weasel have targeted things that only have value to other people?
Of course. After all, we're just telling stories here. If I had to guess, I would say that the real weasel left to fend for herself after her parents died young. Betrayed. She'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins. This was her only source of happiness. Once again, she was betrayed. This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. I detest the happiness of others. In all it, I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true.
That's some...
Now it all makes sense.
Does this story sound...
Yes, it is quite to my tastes. Thank you for help.
Huh. That's right, because without that, none of this...
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel... Lyney? Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the one who posted that letter outside the Opera House.
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd as ever. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. Our goal was to clear Caesar's name. The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the weasel to show themselves.
That's it?
Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hold most dear, just as you did to me 10 years...
10 years ago? Wait. Oh, I get it. You were those two obnoxious kids. He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something?
We remember all our debts, however great or small. 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds, and his legacy was thrown out. 10 years, but we did not forget. And so we...
And? What exactly did you take from me?
Free? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies and falsehood, I think that applies to you too. Truth can take many forms. Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached unbearably in the dead of night, stealing became your way of numbing the pain.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you found something other than a life of... Back to Lorenzo for a second. He knew who you were and the things you'd done. You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. But that truth is gone now. And I guarantee you.
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and falsehoods.
Gather round, one and all, the time. I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the...
A high-altitude escape?
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar. But we have now learned that Caesar was...
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew. I've been Traveler, Paimon. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight.
Lyney, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. So what about now? You don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone.
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Lyney said, when you're ready,
But what about Gemma?
she'll figure out what's best for her soon enough. Oh, and if you'd like to see Lyney after the show,
All right. Well, let's go and watch...
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright. We're used to that.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Lyney is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
Did you see that? 1 minute he was falling.
How could he possibly have done?
How mysterious. I didn't blink once. He just vanished right in front of my eyes.
What a heart-stopping magic show! This was really worth the trip. Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Lyney has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh, I couldn't ask for a better grand finale.
It will make a great headline for the Steambird tomorrow, even if I do say so myself.
Whew. Looks like everyone really loved Lyney's grand finale. Paimon doesn't see Lyney anywhere. Oh, Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. Oh, you mean the one where... Yeah, that's probably it. So, alright, let's go look for... Are you alright? Paimon was scared to death when the chamber...
Magic is a performance art. A magician has to get creative to keep the audience on tenterhooks. I was honestly a little nervous during the live performance. The thought of falling, suddenly feeling weightless, seeing... Sometimes, I can't help but wonder what Caesar thought and did he regret taking Gemma and Lorenzo on? Or...
You know, Paimon's been wanting to ask you about something ever since we were in Caesar's room.
After I joined the House of the Hearth. To be honest, Lynette and I had an agenda. I told you about my past before, remember? As a young boy, I survived by secretly learning magic from street performers, but I quickly realized that observation alone could only get me so far. What I saw was the polished final performance, but the rigorous training they put in behind the scenes, I needed to learn how to improve my sleight of hand, hone my misdirection skills, and make... We were gifted enough that we'd made some progress by ourselves, but without proper guidance from a professional magician, we quickly plateaued.
So that's why you sought Caesar out?
Yes. We figured there was no harm in asking, but it took us by surprise that he was so willing to teach us. In all, we only spent 10 short days together, but he was very good to us. For instance, when he asked why, but in truth, there was already a... What amazed me was how the lie escaped my lips. Trust is a beautiful thing.
Lyney...
Still worried about the way I feel? But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the House of the Hearth, after Caesar went on tour, we became busy with our... That night, I remembered his smile. To keep secrets is to put up walls. The longer you keep them up, you only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them completely. That's why I was so
Yeah, sure. We've had to say our fair share of goodbyes during our journey too. Delicious food, fun toys, and the Traveler by my side. You know Traveler? Doesn't that kind of...
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. Life has taken plenty from us, like it did from Gemma. That's why the darkness never consumed me and why it never will. Maybe we live in the... All right. Time to lighten this conversation.
It was amazing! Paimon just wished... Lyney...
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are decidedly...
Aw, come on! Sure...
Oh, all right then. Watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
You liar! There's nothing in your hand!
Huh? My goodness, you're right. But I could have sworn I brought one here with...
3?
Now, have another look around. Maybe the flower...
Really? Let's see. Wow, there it is! Oh, this is a different, but more importantly, Paimon has to know...
Well, if you want to learn magic, you'll have to...
Ugh. Fine. Please, teacher, please!
Since you asked so nicely, I'll share...
Is that it?
Look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again for coming to see my show. I look forward to seeing you again.
All right, shall we head back down too? Oh, Paimon can't wait to read this. Let's head to the Steambird's offices tomorrow morning.
I'm very sorry, Charlotte, but my sister and I are quite busy today.
Oh, please, Lyney, I'll only take a moment of your time.
Huh? What's happening here?
I spent all night writing my piece about the Phantom Weasel, and it was going to go to print, but just as dawn broke, I suddenly received news that...
That was quick.
Too late, bro.
That was quick, you say? It sounds like I've got some catching up to do. Aha! My instincts did not lead me astray. You do have something to hide.
Maybe watching my high-altitude escape trick reminded her of a better time with Caesar.
Huh. Okay, then. Wait, no, that... Oh, I remember now! You and Gemma were nowhere to be... Quickfire question! Where did you all go after the show?
Oh, we went to the cemetery and Lyney did a private... Actually, glad you mentioned it, because that reminds...
What? I don't recall ever having received a rainbow rose from you myself. Is this supposed to mean that they're more important to you than your own sister?
No, I just,
What now? This is getting...
Seems like this interview wasn't meant to be. Forgive my persistence, but when there's explosive news waiting to be found, apparently one of the things she said to the guards... All right, I guess I'll leave you to continue.
Lynette?
Don't worry, I wasn't angry. I was...
Oh, really?
phew, you and me both, Paimon.
Please, take good care of that rainbow rose. I'd be really upset if you lost it.